I am disabled and spent a lot of my childhood in hospital. Got surgery to improve my quality of life in 2008 and had to spend like over a year in the hospital every day. There were a lot of other kids there. Some who would be spending even the weekends in hospital, and others would get to go home for the weekends, come back Monday, spend the week there. Repeat. There was a lot of sick kids there, obviously, with various illnesses and disabilities. There was one girl in particular, let's call her Judy, who was in a power chair, unable to move or talk. She did vocalize though, and over time you could recognize her vocalizing from afar, if that makes sense. One time, a Friday, a friend and I were waiting for our ambulances to come and pick us up to get us home for the weekend. Friday afternoon was staff meeting time, so my friend and I were just in our room waiting alone, which was not unusual. What was weird though was that we could hear Judy wailing. Not just vocalizing, full-on wailing, like pained screams, sobs. It went on for maybe 2 hours. Nobody came to check on her, and when our ambulances came, the people picking us up didn't seem to notice anything either. My friend and I were worried though, so we agreed to mention it to a nurse when we came back on Monday. Monday rolls around. Friend and I talk and decide to go tell a nurse, hey, Judy seemed pretty agitated on Friday, and we didn't see anyone to ask to check on her. Is she feeling better? The nurse turned white. I remember her just staring at us for a sec, and then just telling us yeah, she's okay. Don't worry. Go back to whatever the communal activity was that day. Friend and I thought she reacted a bit weird, but hey, we're kids in hospital, struggling with our own health. An adult says she's fine. We go back to our own thing. We don't see Judy after that, but don't think much of it. Years later, we learned that she had apparently passed a day or two before my friend and I apparently heard her. Still don't know what to think of this now as an adult. I just hope she's at peace now.
I still remember that fateful Monday morning like it was yesterday. I was rushing to catch the bus, lost in my own thoughts, when I saw him, our grumpy old neighbour, Mr. Jenkins. But something was off. He was beaming with a smile, a sight I had never seen before. I did a double take, wondering if I was hallucinating. By the time I turned around, he was already 30 feet away, disappearing into the distance. I brushed it off as a weird anomaly and continued my day. But little did I know, my mom had some chilling news waiting for me when I got home. As we exchanged stories about our day, I casually mentioned my encounter with Mr. Jenkins. Her expression changed from curiosity to shock, and she dropped the bombshell. Mr. Jenkins had passed away the previous night. I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off after my mum told me Mr. Jenkins had passed away. I kept thinking about his smile and how weird it was. It was like he knew something I didn't. Later that week, I was walking home from school, and I saw something that made my heart skip a beat. On Mr. Jenkins' front door, there was a note that said, "I'm still here." I felt a chill run down my spine. Who could have written that? And why? I didn't tell anyone about it, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was like Mr. Jenkins was trying to tell me something. I started looking over my shoulder, wondering if he was still watching me. It was freaking me out, man.
I live on the top 2 floors of an apartment building with 2 private patios. I woke around 3 a.m. one night to my dog barking in my face. She basically never does that. She led me to the upper patio, so I assumed she had to pee and let her out. Instead, she closely inspected the patio before rushing back inside and to the stairs, where she barked at me to follow. I realized that she thought we had an intruder and grabbed my bat before heading downstairs. My dog investigated all of downstairs, before freezing and growling at the glass door to the lower patio. I looked out and could make out the silhouette of a man standing still on my patio. I walked over the patio light switch and turned on the patio lights. By the time I looked back, the patio was empty. It's basically impossible for someone to get to that balcony without going through my apartment. I have no idea what I saw, but it must have been something because my dog saw it too. I couldn't shake off the feeling that someone was still in my apartment watching me. I kept looking over my shoulder, expecting to see a shadowy figure lurking in the corner. My dog seemed to sense it too, and she kept growling softly, as if she saw something I didn't. I tried to focus on TV, but my mind kept wandering back to the patio. I remembered the way the plants were arranged and how the furniture seemed slightly moved. It was as if someone had been there, but tried to make it look like they hadn't. I got up and checked the patio again, but everything seemed normal. I even checked the dust on the floor, but there were no footprints. It was as if I had imagined the whole thing, but I knew I didn't. I knew what I saw, and my dog knew it too. We had seen something, and it was still out there, watching us. I started to feel a sense of unease, like I was being slowly driven crazy. I kept hearing creaks and groans in the apartment, and I knew it wasn't just the building settling. Someone was trying to mess with my head. I tried to call my friends, but no one answered. It was as if I was completely alone, and the only one who believed me was my dog.